Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more relationship stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too. Let's crack on with today's first story. Much love guys. Now today's first story comes from a throwaway account and is titled My 19 female boyfriends, 19 male, mum, 50 female, came into my work today and I don't know how to tell him. I think my original post was removed because I cannot find it. Throwaway because my boyfriend follows my regular account. Also for clarity, I will call my boyfriend N. I 19 female have been dating my boyfriend 19 male for a year and a half. Things have been really good and he's my best friend. I also get along really well with his family, as he does with mine. I go to cosmetology school currently and I hope to become a hairstylist in the future. I have done my family's hair as well as my boyfriend's family for free when I am free. For example, I did my boyfriend's little sister's hair for a junior prom and have done his mum's twice for weddings. I do not charge them because I am not on the clock and because I don't want to accept their money when I offered to help them in the first place. On Saturday, I had a woman come into my school/salon and ask for me to do her hair. For some info, students at my school are allowed to do people's hair/people can come into the salon and get their hair done by students. The prices are a lot lower. I think instead of $50 treatment, it would only be like $14, but obviously are done by newer, less experienced stylists. We do get a lot of customers. Most of my friends come in and sometimes even my boyfriend. So anyways, the lady comes in and asks for me. I wasn't working on anyone, so I gladly helped her out. We ended up doing a full scalp treatment plus a cut and blowing plus styling. For salons in my area, his would be anywhere between $60 to $80. At the place I work, this was only $20. When she was all finished, I brought her to the front and gave her the total. She looked at me and said, "Aren't you N's girlfriend?" I didn't know who this woman was, but I said, "Oh, yes I am." She then said, "N's mum's name said you work here and you don't charge family members. I didn't bring any money." Again, I have no idea who this woman is and I have never said anything close to that. I told her that I'm currently a student and do work here, but our school/company does charge. She was like, "No, I just spoke with her and she says you do family and friends hair for free." I told her that while I have done some family's hair as well as my boyfriend's family's hair for free, I have it done at their house or my house when I'm off the clock. No matter what I told her, she would not listen and my teacher/salon owner had to come forward and help the lady. She basically told my manager that I said I have a family discount and now I'm making her pay, even though I told her she didn't have to. Thankfully, my manager heard our entire conversation before she came over and basically told her that's not true. The woman did have money and threw a $20 bill on the counter before she walked out. I apologized to my teacher, but she told me not to worry. About an hour later, my boyfriend's mum showed up. I was working the counter at this time, so I was free to talk to her. I was about to tell her about the woman from earlier, but she kind of started talking right away. She said, not even a hi beforehand, "My friend just told me what happened. I'm not sure what to tell her." I told her I wasn't sure what she meant and told her what happened. Apparently she knew what happened and everything that lady told me was true. To summarize, my boyfriend's mum was talking to her friend, the lady, about where to get her hair done. She told her friend about me and how I do hair at a salon for a cheap price. She then told her friend to tell me that she knows my boyfriend's family and that I wouldn't charge her. I said to her that I have no control over prices and that I have never done work for free. She told me that I do her and her daughter's hair all the time for free and that she assumed I'd be nice enough to lend a hand to other people they are close with. I told her I don't know why she would assume that, as this is my job and I'm still in school. I also told her that the times I've done her and her daughter's hair, I've done it at their houses when I wasn't currently at school. She ended the conversation by saying that I'm just a student and she doesn't understand why I would still need to get paid when I still have a lot to work on. She said N says a lot of sweet things about you and I was really looking forward to other people meeting you. I now have to go around telling my friends that you are actually sweet and we do actually like you, but it's fine, I guess I'll see you soon. And then she left. The entire time she was very passive aggressive and very fake nice/understanding. I'm honestly at a loss for words right now. Through my entire time dating N, I've never once gotten the impression that she didn't like me, and she's never acted like this to me before. I'm I'm supposed to have dinner with him and his family on Wednesday, but I'm not really sure I want to go anymore. I don't really want to see her and I feel a bit awkward and uncomfortable. N has been at a tournament all weekend, so I haven't got a chance to tell him what happened. I don't know how to tell him or how he's going to react. I don't know how to go about this or if I'm overreacting. How do I bring it up to him? Now, from many stories we've covered in the past where family enable each other to do shitty things, hopefully we're going to find out something very important in your relationship right now. You tell your boyfriend up front about exactly what happened and see his reaction from there. That's incredibly entitled behavior to expect you to be cutting people's friends' hairs for free. How many other friends has she told about this? How many people's going to turn up at your salon expecting a free haircut? Absolutely stop cutting their hair for free. They're absolutely entitled and your skills deserve to be paid for. But different ad says you're not overreacting at all. Your reactions and feelings are completely valid. It was wrong of his mother to assume that you would do this random woman's hair for free. You literally do not know her, and not once did you say, "Hey N's mum, if you or your friends want to swing by my school, my place of business, I'll do it for free." You never once said that. You always did it at their house, and she had to know that. She obviously is a very unaware person. Would absolutely tell your boyfriend about this. He has to have an idea of his mum being like this, and I'm sure he will definitely believe you. If he doesn't, bring the manager in on the conversation. D says she came to a business you work at and wanted you to give her friend a free haircut. If you had done that, there is every chance you would be fired. It was lucky your manager heard the exchange. Tell your boyfriend what happened, and next time you see his mum, I would tell her that your manager was extremely unhappy at what happened, and if anyone else comes into the shop and tries that again, they will be banned from the store. You should ask your manager what happens in situations like this, with the understanding that you will never give anyone a free haircut in the shop. That's an interesting question that I'd like to know the answer as well. I wonder how many managers and salons see, entitled family members come in and saying, "Oh, they cut my hair for free because, we're family." But Pop and Matlock says, you are about to learn a lot of important things about your relationship and yourself. First of all, you need to understand that you're completely right and are being tested. If you break, try to cater to them or seek to find a compromise with an illogical position, you'll begin a slow descent into a place you don't want to be. How your boyfriend reacts to this will also tell you a lot about him, and what a life together will hold in regard to where he puts you in his priority list. His mum was out of line. She can't understand the difference between a favour at home and at work. Is she an idiot in your experience, or is she trying to see how useful her son's girlfriend can be to her socially? She's trying to turn your time into her social currency. You need to set a firm line now. Home is home and work is work. You will happily accept referrals, but cannot do work for free, just as they wouldn't. Furthermore, she has to ask before offering your time to anyone. If she can't accept that, you are young, and that is a big enough problem. You should really consider ending the relationship. Don't tie yourself to that kind of life. When she tried to guilt you about being sweet, just let that go. It's a dumb thing older people do that no longer means anything. Please don't try to make her happy. She should be happy you make her son happy, not trying to capitalize off that for her own gain. Good luck, and believe in yourself. What a comment. A few hours later, OP comes in with a small update and says, "My boyfriend sent me a text and asked me if we could talk. He got home from his tournament and came over to my place. This morning, his mum sent him a text about the situation. They had a whole conversation where she had said a very fabricated story, as many of you said, about what happened. My boyfriend sent back a response along the lines of, 'Why did you expect it to be free?' OP has never done that before. She blew up at this and sent him a bunch of texts saying that throughout our entire relationship, she hated me and does not want us to be together because I am tearing their family apart. My boyfriend was very upset when he showed me the messages and told me to not believe them. I told him about the post and he read through it as well as all the comments. We're going to speak more about it later. He's taking a nap right now because he was playing like all weekend. He said he has been having a lot of trouble with his family/mum for a while. Things have been very rocky between them and this was just the final straw. After he wakes up, we are going to talk about it. As for the party, we are still going to go. I did not mention it before, but this is like his family tradition party. Wednesday is the only time all of his extended family can all meet at the same place. I've gotten really close with the other relatives and I do not want his mum to ruin a potentially good time. I was going to upload the text message screenshots, but I don't know how. So if someone does, they can let me know. As for now, my boyfriend and I are going to chill for the rest of the day. I might make an update after Wednesday or if anything more happens. I have work tomorrow and I'm planning on speaking to my teacher. Not sure what to do or say on Wednesday, or even if I bring it up. Then OP gives a full update and says, "Hello. I was planning on giving an update about what happened, but a lot happened since my original post, so I haven't been able to get on here. It won't let me post on the relationship subreddit and I'm not sure why, so I'm posting to my profile. First off, thank you to everyone who commented with advice and support. My boyfriend and I read through every comment and we appreciate you all. Another thing, I spoke to my manager/teacher after what had happened and basically read my initial post. She was very understanding and told me that nothing happened was my fault, and I've never given anyone the impression that I would do side work for free. She said she would keep an eye out for anyone that comes in asking for me and would help out if I needed anything else. Before I get into this, I did ask my boyfriend if he was okay with me posting this and he said he was. After my original post, I spoke to my boyfriend about what happened. He showed me the text between him and his mum and everything else that happened. Things have been very tense between him and his family. His mum quit her job and decided she wants to be a housewife. His family, however, does not make enough money for her to live out her housewife fantasies. They have been comfortable with the amount they have, but with one kid in college and another heading to college in 2 years, quitting your job and relying on a single income is not a smart move. My boyfriend has expressed this to his parents and he continued to get 2 responses. His mum says that it's not his business. She gave up so many years taking care of him and his sister, and she should be able to relax and able to do things she wants to do. His dad, although stressed about having to work more, says to leave his mum alone and just focus on school. This has been happening since September of 2022, and my boyfriend has been dealing with all of this. He said that he didn't tell anyone because he was embarrassed by her behavior and the idea that down the line he might not be as financially stable as he promised he would be. In the past months, he's been staying at my place as well as his teammates' places more. I thought it was because of his season coming up and him wanting to spend more time with him, but he apparently isn't welcome at his home. Apparently his mother said to him, "I don't need a hater like you to tell me how to live my life. If you're going to be a drag, you can leave." He only goes there to pick up his sister and drive her places and drop her off at school. As for Wednesday, I decided to go. I know a lot of people had mixed feelings about whether I should go or not, but I explained later on that his dinner was kind of a family tradition where all extended family came to one house and see each other. I know that despite what was going on with his mum and dad, this meant a lot to my boyfriend, and I know how close he is to his aunts, uncles and grandparents. He said that he just wanted to lay low during dinner and not contribute to anything his mum says/cause a scene. He did say though, if she brings up what happened at the salon or tries to do anything about me, he will do something about it. The dinner was at his house. We went around to say hi to all of his extended family and just hanging out with his sister. During dinner, his mum started talking about doing things for the family and how she can't imagine someone in this family refusing to help another if they needed it. Her father, my boyfriend's grandpa, asked what she meant by that, and she looked at me and said, "Well, you know, if you're looking to marry into a family, treating family members like regular, nobody customers really lessens your chance of being accepted in." I could not believe the audacity of this woman. I was reading through your comments and saw a lot of you told me to not bring it up and just to take the higher road/not give in to her nagging. I was planning on ignoring the comment, but she was staring at me while she was saying it and didn't look away. I just kind of smiled and said, "Oh, I'm not sure what you mean." During this, most, if not all the extended family was now paying attention to this conversation and were looking at his mum for a response. She scoffed and said, "I know what it's like to work a job and still be kind and treat family with respect." My boyfriend looked at her and said very calmly, "What do you mean? You didn't have a job. You quit." Apparently, no extended family, and even my boyfriend's younger sister, knew that his mum quit her job and doesn't work anymore. Apparently, when a family member calls her, she responds saying that she's at work and she'll call them when she's done. My boyfriend's grandpa asked him what he meant, and his mum tried to cut him off, but my boyfriend basically explained what's been going on since September. The whole family started questioning his mum and asking why she would do that. She only repeated that she wants to have a life and she's allowed to do whatever she wants. My boyfriend's little sister was really upset because she has a dance coming up and was looking for a dress that was a little out of her price range. She doesn't have a job, but she told her parents that she was looking for one so she could pay for her own dress. Her mother assured her that she didn't have to get a job and that her mum is working overtime so she can get the dress for her as a gift. Her sister started crying and said that she could have been working for months had she known her mum lied to her about getting the dress. My boyfriend and I left with his sister in the middle of the conversation because they were both getting very upset. As we were leaving, the whole family were still yelling at his mum about lying to the whole family and kicking her son out of his house. His sister and him stayed at my place for the weekend before she went back to her house. She's currently staying at her friend's house for a little bit because she doesn't want to go home to see her mum. Some of my boyfriend's aunts and uncles reached out to him and apologized for making him feel like he had to keep the secret. They said that if he needs anything in terms of college, food, and anything upcoming games, they will cover it. His dad reached out to him last week and said that his mum is upset with him for calling her out at dinner. He said while he doesn't think that what his son did was bad, he had to have known that this would have started up a whole thing and it's better to just keep the peace. My boyfriend did not respond to him and says he probably won't for a long time. My boyfriend is doing much better and says that he feels like a weight has been lifted off his chest now that he's finally spoken about it. We're having a lazy day right now, which is what reminded me that I forgot to update this post, so I'm doing so now. Again, thank you for all the support and all the good advice. I am really grateful. And there was that phrase again towards the end of the story. Just let her do it to keep the bloody peace. Ugh. And I always find it ironic in these stories. They always go off about, how family is important, looking after family, doing stuff for family is how extremely important, but then comes out later on like, I've looked after you all my life now and I'm doing what I want, so fuck you kind of thing. It's like, what the hell? And this story was a shocker in a nice way. I know they're all going through an absolute shit time with this family at the moment, but to see the boyfriend immediately supporting the girlfriend from the first post is often rare to see within these stories, so that was refreshing to see. But what do you guys make of this one? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Let's move on to another story. Now this next story comes from a throwaway account and asks, am I the a-hole for kicking my son's girlfriend out of our house? My husband, 58 male, and I, 56 female, recently met my son's 24 male girlfriend for the first time. He's been crazy about her. Apparently they've been dating for a year before he decided to have her meet us officially. What he's told us about her all seems great. She just got her degree, was enjoying her job, family orientated, etc. I'm honestly just glad he's happy with her. My husband and I don't think he's ever been this into someone before, so I feel pretty bad about what I did. Last weekend, he brought her over for dinner. By now, we've been anticipating meeting her with how much our son has been gushing about her, how perfect she is, that she's the one, in his words. They ring the doorbell, we open the door, she looks exactly like her pictures, which is a great start. My son is grinning ear to ear, another great start. We invite them in, she accepts my hug and a firm handshake from my husband, and then she opens her mouth. I'm the one your son puts his penis in. To be frank, I was appalled. I expected my husband to laugh. Both he and my son are jokesters, and as annoying as it can be, I love it. But this was just too much for me. Maybe I'm reserved, but all things she could have shared about my son, she told us that. One look at my face and my husband knew how much I disapproved. Maybe I let my expectations get too high, and it's unfair to have them. But I reiterate, of all things to say to her boyfriend's parents, whom she'd never met, she chose that. My son was amused at first, but when he noticed my reaction, his face dropped. I felt like he'd sold me the full package, everything he'd always been looking for in a girlfriend. I was too disturbed by the visual it put in my head, and it translated into anger. I told her to get out, and I wanted to say more about how gross it made me feel, but I fortunately left it at that. My son didn't want to go, insisting I give her another chance, but I was too fed up and uncomfortable by this point. Even my husband, who's enjoyed his fair share of raunchy jokes, wouldn't let up. They left and I immediately felt guilty. This was something my son had really looked forward to. I feel like I took that away over a dumb joke. I tried calling to apologize, but he hasn't responded. My husband thinks she's the one who should apologize. I'm considering giving her another chance, but before I do, was I the a-hole? And we're starting the comments with Mama, who says not the a-hole. I'm pretty liberal and open-minded, but for fuck's sake, I'd never lead with that meeting my boyfriend's parents for the first time, or say that ever. Like seriously, you open the door and that's what flies out of her mouth. Was she nervous? Did she seem embarrassed at all? Did she try to apologize? Is there anything that could explain her inappropriate outburst? You apologized. Wow. Hats off to you. Neither of you can do anything to change what happened, and it's up to her to accept the apologies or not. Don't beat yourself up. If she's decent at all, she'll understand. If she's not, then maybe good riddance. Edit. If she doesn't call back to apologize or explain, If there's anything to explain, I hope your son dumps her, and also good riddance. It's more than what she said. If you apologized, it's also about a desire to meet you in the middle. You, the mother of the boyfriend she loves. Grace goes both ways. You extended yours by apologizing. If she was offended, she should do the same. A commenter says her joke was definitely not appropriate, and I can totally understand you were comfortable with it, and is something that should be addressed somehow. But blowing your lid and kicking them out with no second chance is just unhinged. All this writing you did of how she was supposed to be the full package, and you were just so disappointed. It's a bad joke that didn't land, not an unforgivable sin where she hurt somebody. What do you think the way forward is? How do you expect to come back from this? Do you expect your son to break up with her immediately over this? And apparently they have the perfect relationship. Is that what you want him to do? If he chooses to stay with her, you will be forever the psychotic mother-in-law who loses her shit over things immediately and destroys dinners. Honestly, even if you try to brush this under the rug and move past this, you've already given a gigantic red flag for this girl. So in the future, she'll probably always be waiting for the next time something set you off and you go nuts. Based on the way you wrote this post, you'll probably be looking for a reason to do it too. Enormous, you're the a-hole. OP responded and saying, not liking this joke makes me psychotic. That's a bit unwarranted. I overreacted, yes, but I don't want to make that mistake again. I'm honestly hopeful my son and his girlfriend stay together despite all of this. Of course, I don't want them to break up, especially not over something so stupid. I guess we'll see what happens next as far as meeting again goes. I'm doing what I can to make amends on my end. Hopefully when I get to know her better, we can have a good relationship. Munchkins and Dragon says not the a-hole, this just doesn't sit right. You said your son was all big smiles and amusement, and up until the son realized you weren't all that impressed. You also said he jokes around like that with his dad. What are the chances it was your son's idea all along, and she just regretfully went along with it? Because if that's the case, you probably can't get a hold of him because he's doing damage control with his girlfriend, who's now mortified and angry that his super funny joke gave you the worst impression of her that she could imagine. OP says this honestly wouldn't surprise me, but I'm not gonna lie, I'd be disappointed in him. That's not something he'd ever say in front of me directly because he knows I'm not a fan of any personal jokes of that nature. So to make his girlfriend say it wouldn't be very good, and I'd hope that if that is the case, that he makes it up to her somehow. I try to reach out again to let them know we can try again. That possibility makes me feel 1,000 times worse. I've got to say, reading this, it made me feel that way as well, that the boyfriend already knew about it. Like, whether she came up with it or he came up with it, I don't know, but I kind of feel like it must have been discussed prior to this. Obviously, I don't know, but I don't think it's something you just say at random or would even think of saying at random. And one more comment from Grave Dancer who says, everyone sucks here. The girlfriend made an inappropriate joke. I don't know why. Possibly her family makes those kind of jokes, so she thought it'd be fine. Maybe your son put her up to it. Maybe they both agreed it'd be funny. It crossed the line for you, and that's fine. But kicking her out so quickly was a complete overreaction. Ignoring it and just carrying on like it didn't happen, or even just pointing out the inappropriateness of it would have been fine. But your reaction was too much. But now I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And just a huge thank you from the bottom of my heart for getting involved in today's stories. Your love, your support, your time always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so, so much. And hopefully I'm going to see you in the next one. Take care and much love.